On the 15th of June 2024, six of India's top football institutions came together to make a statement. Bengaluru FC, FC Goa and Dempo SC banded together with the Mizoram Football Association and Academy's Reliance Foundation Young Champs and FC Madras in a bid to fight age fraud, a problem that has long plagued Indian football. But what prompted these organizations to come together? What is age fraud and how does it impact Indian football? Age fraud, like the name suggests, is when a player's age is misrepresented to allow them to play football competitions for which they are too old to compete. In senior football, there are players from all ages, creating an even playing field. However, this practice has far-reaching consequences at the grassroots and youth levels. At younger ages, the focus in football is on developing a child's motor and technical skills. This education lays the foundation for a player's development from a talent to a top-level professional athlete. A player's development is maximized when they are allowed to play in competitive games against their peers and develop through consistent game time. However, when you add an overage player into the mix, their superior physical stature tips the scales in their favor, and talented young players often get overshadowed by the more physically developed players. This issue has reached such a stage where players are able to misrepresent their ages by up to 5 or 6 years in order to gain competitive advantages. This benefits the players who have cheated as they stand out in all the metrics, giving them a leg up on those around them in a competitive environment. For example, a child born in 2011 would be 13 years old today, while a child born in 2007 or 2008 would be 16 or 17. And when a 13-year-old child plays in a game, his expectation is to compete amongst other children in the same age group. That is rarely the case. What often happens and what age fraud facilitates is that 13-year-olds will be playing against players anywhere between 15 to 18 years old. In an ideal world where players are competing against others of the same age, technical ability and talent is what stands out. And as talented players rise through the ranks, they eventually go on to represent the national team, where their qualities help the nation grow as a force in international football. However, that does not happen in India today. Because our system is plagued with age cheats, for a 13-year-old to be able to compete and outshine a 17-year-old is highly unlikely. What is more likely is that the child is outperformed, physically bullied, and in lots of unfortunate cases, seriously injured. And when this happens repeatedly, true talent development is hampered. While the player actually born in 2008 is sidelined, or seeing the odds stacked against him, drops out of football entirely, the age cheat progresses through the ranks in youth football, but eventually, when it comes to senior football, the guilty player struggles. A player who has only been used to playing against players younger and less physically able than him will struggle against players in a senior setup, where everyone is either the same age or older, and there is no physical advantage to be had. It is there that technical proficiency matters, and for a player who has never had that level of competition, the road ahead is much tougher. This practice might reap short-term benefits to the player and organizations that facilitate this cheating in the form of winning tournaments at the youth level, thereby becoming a more high-profile player and the academy becoming more attractive to parents who want their child to be in a winning institution to maximize their child's future potential. But in the long term, it is a serious detriment to the footballing infrastructure of the country. So what is the solution? Well, as mentioned at the beginning, some of India's top footballing institutions are banding together to fight this problem. While the science to accurately test a player's age is still not exact, these teams have vowed to do everything in their power to verify a player's true age by using a combination of existing science and putting in the hard yards when it comes to verifying a player's documents. The Mizoram Football Association has taken the first step by introducing an amnesty scheme to forgive players who are guilty of age cheating and have voluntarily decided to come forward and disclose their wrongdoing. The scheme allows for players, clubs and coaches involved in age fraud to come forward and disclose their actions within a predetermined period of time, the grace period, and face no consequences. However, the punishments will be severe for those who are caught after the end of the grace period. Clubs today turn a blind eye to age cheating within their ranks. The first step is for them to look within and clean up their own shop. While other state associations will take time to follow the positive steps taken by the MFA, the clubs can make a head start by identifying and flagging issues in their own teams. The aim of the move is not to be punitive, but to give a chance for our game to become more honest and transparent. The amnesty scheme allows for that by creating an air of openness with no major detriment to the players involved. This is not a simple fix, and there will be players who fall through the cracks. But by shining a light on the issue, the hope is that in the long run, the sport will be much cleaner. And as they say, sunlight is the best disinfectant.